Hi, welcome back to Unlocking Potential, your journey to fulfillment. My name is Aaron Sangmo, and I'm your coach. Thanks for coming along once again. I'm going to start a thread titled, Why Am I Here? Why am I here is a question of purpose. Why are you here on earth? Okay, and the objective is basically to guide you through the indicators, the triggers, the things you should know as far as identifying or discovering your purpose is concerned. I'm going to share with you very high-level pointers, okay, as far as this session is concerned. It's a prelude to our main discussion. So we're going to do about 5 things or so. We're going to define purpose. We're going to look at how life without purpose looks like. We're going to discuss purpose extinguishers. We're going to discuss why purpose pursuit matters. And finally, we are going to look at the purpose triggers or the triggers of purpose. So let's kick things off with the definition of purpose. What is purpose? And I'm going to share with you about 3 or so pointers or indicators of what purpose is. Number 1, purpose is the need that informed your conception. God puts you here to meet a need. You were not thrown here by accident. There is a specific need that God has or the world has for which God puts you here. So you are here to fulfill a need. That's the one definition of purpose. Another way to look at purpose is your role within the grand agenda of the Creator. Purpose is your role within the grand agenda of the Creator. Okay, the whole world is like a puzzle and you fit a certain piece. That is what makes the world solve its puzzle. So within God's greatest or grand agenda of creation, of putting man here, you have a role to play. Okay, and that's one of the ways to define purpose. Number 3, purpose is your ordained work for the duration of your life. For the entire period of your life, there is a certain work God has given you. And when I talk about work, I'm not talking about your job. I'm talking about the things that helps you to deploy your gifts and talents. Let me give you a final definition of purpose. Okay, so the number 4 definition is that purpose is your destination. Purpose is your destination. Others call it destiny. So your life actually ended before it began. It ended, then it began. So that end, the end to which you are here, is your destiny. Okay, that is your purpose. You are here because God has a certain outcome He wants you to achieve. And He brought you here to come and live that life towards that outcome. That's your destiny. You can also call it your purpose. So that does it for the definition of purpose. Okay, I've given you 4 critical definitions of purpose. Now, I want us to look at life without purpose. If you don't live on purpose, what does it mean? What is the significance? What is the essence? How does that look like? I'm going to share with you quickly 4 things that define a life without purpose. Number 1, without purpose, life is activism without agenda. Activism without agenda. It's like somebody who wakes up and he's just juggling so many things but doesn't have any reason behind it. Purpose always asks the question, why, before indulgence, right? So before you indulge in anything, before you take up that course, before you take up that job, you need to ask yourself, why do I have to do it? Number 2, without purpose, life is event without essence. Event without essence. And most of us are busy going from here to there. Many events, always busy, but for nothing. Okay, purpose always asks the question, how does it benefit me before indulgence? Number 3, without purpose, life is following without focus. It's like somebody came to you and said, let us go to Koforidua, and you just sit in the car and off you go. You don't ask what is going to happen in Koforidua. That's how some of us will live our lives. We are just doing things without any focus. Purpose always asks the question, how does this align with my aspirations? And you need to ask that question all the time. How does this align with my aspirations? Number 4, without purpose, life is movement without a map. You have a destination in mind. You don't know how to get to that destination. Then you just wake up and start going. Chances are that you get missing many times before, if ever it will happen, eventually you get to that place. And that's how some of us are living our lives. There is no map, there is no guide. We're just moving to and fro, and we are hitting our heads against the wall and bouncing back and always starting all over again. You need to avoid all that. Purpose always asks the question, how does this affect my destiny? Alrighty, that does it for life without purpose, how it looks like. Now let's turn our attention to purpose extinguishers. Purpose extinguishers, right? The things that kill purpose in simple language. I'm going to share with you a few. Number one, ignorance. Ignorance. And when I talk about ignorance here, I am referring to deliberately ignoring the promptings of purpose. Deliberately. Deciding on your own to not pay attention to purpose promptings. Deliberately ignoring your passions, your values. Deliberately deciding to go against all that you are. That's very absurd, but it happens sometimes based on various things, social pressure from family, economic indicators, and all stuff like that. People deliberately, so okay, I know this is my passion, but hey, let me just forgo it and focus on something else. Number two is economic pressure. You know, Maslow's theory sometimes can be very misleading. It's like you have to focus on food and the basic things before you think of all the other things. Self-actualization is like the last thing you have to think of. But in God's agenda, we need to start from the top. Focus on the things that make you relevant, okay? And then all the other things will fall in place. The Bible says, seek the kingdom and all these things shall be added unto you. Number three, social influence. Oh yes, how much we are influenced by our social community. It's a way of distraction. It distracts us from following purpose. Number four is family preferences. Family preferences. And this, I think I've mentioned in one of the previous sessions. Our families have their preferences for us, what they want us to become, what they want us to achieve. And there can that kind of conflict of interest across our families, and we are always in the middle, torn between one or two or three interests from different parties. Okay, so that's another way your purpose can be extinguished. Okay, the fire of purpose will be extinguished. You will never make anything of it. Okay, so that's it. These are 4 critical purpose extinguishers you should be mindful of and to avoid them. And this will bring us to the conclusion of this session on answering the question, why am I here? We are going to continue in the subsequent sessions. And like I always do, I would like to leave you with something to think over. This time I'm going back to Dr. Myles Munroe, the late. He said, unknown purpose always wastes time and gives the possibility of danger. That's deep. Think about it and catch you in the next session.